Hello, this is the help video for Business Unit 3. The query that we're looking at on this one is query discount. And although it's not difficult, it does involve a nested immediate if. So you just need to make sure that you're putting everything in the right order and not forgetting any commas or parentheses or anything like that. So let's talk it through. So we're at step 11 and 12. So use the data in table reservation and table guess. So if you look at my answer file here, we have those two tables in here. And we're going to use that to create a query that determines the discount that qualifying customers will receive. The query results should list guest first name, last name, discount type. Okay, so we pull all of those down. That's step 11. So let's move on to step 12. This is where it gets a little complex, I guess. In the last column, we're going to add a calculated field named discount percent. Okay, so we know it's a calculated field. We're going to come over to that first blank, click, zoom out, right? So now we've got this big long thing here that we're going to work through. All right, but before we talk about that, let's look at what our little grid is. So if a customer has a AAA discount, they get 10% off. If a customer has AARP, they will receive 15% off. If a customer has a military discount, they receive 20% off. If they don't have a discount, then we're going to put a blank in there. So if I'm looking at this like in an Excel sheet, let's just do it this way so we can visualize what we're talking about, right? So if the person has AAA, they get 10% discount. So we'll just say they're going to put in here 10% off. If they have AARP, they're going to get 15% off, right? That's what it says here. If they are military, then they're going to get 20% off. And then everything else is blank, right? Everything else is going to be a blank. And I'm just typing in blank, but understanding that it's really a blank, okay? So here's what we need to do. So we need to come up with a way to check their discount type, which is what stores this information, right? So this, let's find discount type right there. So if we were to look at the, if we're to look at, let me cancel this here, and I'm in table reservations. If I open up table reservations, and this is one of the things, like if you're not sure about look at the underlying data, right? So I just opened up, and there, look, discount type, AAA, none, military, AAA, AARP. So those values are actually in that field, which is what we're looking for here. And then, so we want to check to see if it's one of these three things and give them an appropriate discount, right? So that's what we're going to do here. And so we're going to begin by building our calculated field. So I'm going to stretch this out so we can see it in one. So just break it down, start off with the name. So it's going to be called discount space, percentage. So I type discount, and there's, see right here, there's a little space there, percent colon. Now we're going to start our calculation. In this one, we're going to do the immediate if. Remember, the if is a binary. You do a check. That check can result in a true or a false condition. That check could be true or false. If it's true, you're going to do one thing. If it's false, you're going to do another. And The only complication here is when we're doing a false, we're going to do another check because we have more than we have more than the single condition, right? We really are looking for three things: AAA, AARP, or military. So let's start and break it down. So we're going to do immediate if, parentheses, always function, parentheses. The field that we're looking at is this discount type. So we're in square brackets, we're going to type discount type. Now, here's where I do different than the answer grid for my IT lab. I just did equal. They say like. Okay, so do it like the answer grid wants you to do it, but understanding your mind, because we're doing the whole condition, we don't really need like. Remember, like is usually done when we are using wildcards. We're not using wildcards. But we're going to do like, quote, AAA, quote, comma. The comma says, okay, we're done with our check. So here's the condition I'm checking for. Is discount type AAA? If that's true, whatever follows this first parentheses is what's going to happen. So if the record has AAA in the discount, then in this new calculated field, we're going to put the words 10% off. See, it's in the quotes. It's a literal. We're just putting the text in there. So that's what happens if it's true. Comma says, okay, we're done identifying the true. Now, if it's not true, if it's not AAA, we're not done yet. We got to do another check. So here's where the nesting comes in. So in this false part, we do another immediate if, and it starts out the same way, right? So here's our condition. Immediate if, parentheses, square bracket, discount type, square bracket, like AARP. So it's not AAA. So now we're going to check, is it AARP? If that's true, here's the true condition for this if. If it is AARP, we're going to put 15% off, right? Because that's what our instructions are telling us. If it's not AARP, and we're only going to ask if it's AARP, if it's not AAA. So we know it's not AAA. We know it's not AARP. So now we're going to start our false for this immediate if. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to check for military. So here's our check. Discount type, like military. So now this is the third thing. Military, if that's true, comma, here's our true condition, 20% off. And then look, if it's not AAA, if it's not AARP, if it's not military, we only get to this point here if it's none of these three things. And then what are we going to put? We're going to put nothing. So we have quote, quote, not even quote, space, quote, because we're not putting in a space, we're putting in nothing. We're putting in a null. Remember I talked about null is the absence of anything. It's not a space, it's not anything, it's nothing. So we do quote, quote, right next to each other. Then we got to come back here and see, okay, we have one left, two left, parentheses, three left, and I haven't closed any of them, so I got to put three closing parentheses. Just remember, opening has to be paired with a closing. So I have three opens, so I'm putting three close. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to save it. Let's run it. And look, AARP 15. Is that right? Yes. None, nothing there. AAA 10%, military 20. It worked. Excuse me. So we're good with that. Step 11 and 12. And one more query for this assignment, and we will be done. All right, guys, thank you.